Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to cut through all that digital noise, hoping to find some clarity and maybe some surprising insights along the way.
That's the goal.
And today, we're plunging into a really fascinating, sometimes, let's say fiery corner of the internet.
Definitely fiery.
It's the world of online personalities, right? And these complex stories, these narratives that just seem to unfold around them constantly. Our mission today really is to dissect one specific online controversy. We're going to pull out the key insights from the material we've looked at just to help you understand the different perspectives at play.
Because there are always multiple perspectives.
Always. We're not just reporting the facts. We want to give you the tools, to critically analyze these dynamics yourself when you see them online. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So, our main topic today revolves around a YouTube personality known as Rican Ranger.
Right.
He's a creator with a bit of a reputation, I think it's fair to say. Outspoken, often provocative.
Definitely provocative.
And, well, he doesn't shy away from confrontation. That seems pretty clear.
Not at all. It's part of the brand, maybe?
Maybe so. Recently, he found himself right in the middle of a storm, following a critical stream that really kicked off a huge debate online.
Yeah, I saw some of that chatter.
Our source material points to one specific video. It came out about 4 days before the discussion we're drawing from, and the title was Rican Ranger, Biggest Crashout, Henry Resilient.
Wow, okay. That title alone tells you a lot.
It's a really strong statement, isn't it? For anyone not deep in the online jargon, a crashout, well, it suggests a public meltdown, right? Often self-destructive.
Yeah, like someone's losing control, risking their whole online presence, their career even.
Exactly. So this stream wasn't just like a casual critique. It was loaded with heavy accusations. It painted a really vivid and, frankly, very negative picture of Rican Ranger.
Okay, so what were the specifics?
Well, the creator behind it described Rican Ranger as spiraling into self-destruction.
Oof, strong words.
Very. And it wasn't vague either. It specifically highlighted times he apparently mocked Henry Resilient.
Henry Resilient. Their feud is legendary almost.
It's long-standing, definitely contentious, and this stream even brought up that infamous comment, the one where Rican Ranger said he wanted to delete Henry.
Right, the delete comment, that caused a stir.
It really did. And in the context of these online rivalries, saying you want to delete someone, that carries a lot of weight,
It does. It sounds aggressive, like wanting to erase their presence entirely.
Pretty much. So the overall tone of this critical stream, our source described it as very negative, almost like it was designed meticulously maybe to frame Rican as just reckless, out of control.
And about to crash out completely.
Exactly. It really aimed to cement that idea, that he was losing his grip, losing his audience, basically self-sabotaging. So we're presented with this really strong narrative, almost definitive. What do we do with that? What does it tell us about how this stuff works online?
Well, what's fascinating here is just how quickly a narrative like that can take hold, especially one point towards, a downfall. People seem drawn to that.
True.
And the source acknowledges, some of Rican Ranger's remarks around that time were undoubtedly wild. His delivery, always bold, right? It's undeniable.
Yeah, that seems consistent.
But then it pivots. It asks this really crucial question. Isn't that just Rican Ranger? Isn't that what makes him who he is online?
Okay. So it's about his persona.
Exactly. It's not just an idle question. It cuts right to the core of his established online identity. The argument being, maybe these traits aren't new signs of a spiral or some unexpected decline.
But just on him.
But just integral parts of how he presents himself. Consistently, he's always been the kind of guy to say the things most people are thinking but won't actually voice out loud.
That unfiltered, sometimes raw, confrontational style.
Right. He cultivates that image. So from this angle, it's not a new development. It's kind of his signature style. It's what attracted his audience in the first place.
Okay, that makes sense as a counterpoint.
Now, just to be clear, the source isn't giving him a totally free pass here.
Right, it's not excusing everything.
No, it acknowledges he crosses lines sometimes. That's important. But it challenges this idea that every single controversial move automatically means self-destruction.
So it questions the severity of the interpretation.
Yeah. It suggests this particular critique felt, maybe more like piling on than fair critique.
Interesting. Piling on.
Which raises that critical point, What are the motivations behind online criticism? Is it always genuine concern?
Roar.
Or can it sometimes be, well, a bit opportunistic? A way to maybe capitalize on an existing personality's flamboyance and the drama it naturally creates.
Because drama gets clicks.
Drama definitely gets clicks. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, the platforms themselves, it makes you wonder how creators and their critics interact in a system that often rewards exactly that kind of heightened emotion and conflict.
So from this alternative view, his actions aren't Crashout.
They're reframed. Not as a Crashout, but as him standing his ground against Henry Resilient. Basically responding to a rival in a way that's actually consistent with his, let's call it, brand of combative talk.
Okay.
And whether you agree with his methods or not, the source points out that kind of fire is what fuels YouTube drama and keeps these conversations alive.
Right. It suggests this sort of symbiotic relationship, even if it's confrontational. Controversy becomes content.
Exactly. It generates attention, engagement, which this raises an important question. When does a strong, established online personality, maybe an abrasive one, cross the line from just authentic expression, even if it's edgy, to genuinely destructive behavior?
Yeah.
Especially when the platforms themselves seem to thrive on that controversy.
That reframing is absolutely critical, I think, because it forces us, all of us, to confront a really fundamental challenge when we're consuming online content. How do we, as the viewers, tell the difference between, genuine intent and strategic performance? It's not just abstract, it's key to how we interpret figures like Rican Ranger. We've got these two very different viewpoints laid out.
Yeah, the Crashout versus the just being himself.
Exactly. The initial really critical take, painting him as spiraling into public self-destruction, a Crashout that could cost him everything, and then this counter-argument saying, well, maybe he's just leaning into his established persona. Controversial, sure, but a style that actually fuels the conversations and engagement that define his corner of YouTube.
Right.
So here's where it gets really interesting for you listening right now.
Okay.
We want to put this directly to you to think about. Do you think Rican Ranger truly crashed out here? Like the initial critical stream so strongly suggested?
Or the alternative.
Or is this maybe just another case of the internet doing what it does, with its huge appetite for drama, maybe exaggerating his words, his actions, making him look worse than he is?
Potentially twisting things for clicks and views?
Could be. It's a really critical distinction to try and make. Because sometimes, a strong personality, someone who isn't afraid to be outspoken, take a provocative stance, say things others won't, well, that gets mistakenly interpreted as recklessness, right?
Yeah.
Or a genuine loss of control. And maybe, just maybe, that's what's happening here. When you watch this kind of stuff online, how do you personally sort out what you perceive as genuine intent versus how it ends up being portrayed or amplified by everyone else?
It's tough to separate them.
Yeah.
Especially when narratives can get weaponized so easily.
Definitely.
And that initial critique, it really honed in on specific things, like wanting to delete Henry, right? Frame them as proof positive of a Crashout.
Undeniable evidence, basically.
But if you look at Rican Ranger through that lens of his established persona, the guy who openly voices unpopular opinions, who kind of thrives on confrontational chat as part of his whole brand,
Then what?
then those wild remarks, maybe they look entirely consistent with his character, not some sudden break from it.
So it's about judging consistency versus deviation.
Exactly. Is the perceived recklessness just part of his strategic performance? Maybe a calculated move to keep his edge, keep his audience engaged? Or is it an actual uncontrolled loss of self? The source encourages us to think about that nuance.
To look past the immediate, very negative framing.
Right, and ask if there's a deeper pattern. It highlights this really fascinating thing about online fame. Creators build brands on specific traits. When those traits get controversial, the question is, are they still playing the character? Or has the character finally taken over?
It really is all about context, isn't it? The same words, same actions, they can mean such different things depending on the framework you use.
Completely.
Is he genuinely spiraling, or is he just, as the source puts it, being unapologetically himself? And this isn't just about one creator, is it? It's like a small example of how these online narratives get built and consumed and sometimes weaponized.
Absolutely. It's a microcosm.
And what's really potent here, I think, is how the platforms themselves influence these narratives. We talk about algorithms favoring extreme stuff. It's not just casual talk. These platforms are fundamentally designed to maximize engagement, right? Clicks, shares, watch time.
whatever keeps people watching.
And strong emotions, outrage, agreement, intense curiosity about drama, they are incredibly engaging.
They hook you in.
So, a creator who constantly pushes boundaries, even if it leads to controversy, well, they often see their content boosted in feeds. It creates this feedback loop, doesn't it?
It really does. So perceived recklessness can actually become a pathway, maybe even a strategic one, to getting more visibility, more attention, regardless of the truth behind the behavior.
Which is a kind of uncomfortable thought.
It is, and it forces us to ask, are creators just responding to the incentives baked into these platforms?
Yeah.
If that highly emotional, confrontational content gets amplified,
Then it pays to produce it.
well, for creators whose brand is built on being outspoken, yeah, the line between authentic expression and strategic performance gets even blurrier. What looks like a crash out from the outside from a critical view
Might be something else from the inside.
could be. From the creator's perspective, maybe it's a high-stakes, calculated, maybe risky, but still calculated move to stay relevant in a super competitive space.
That fire that fuels YouTube drama.
It catches quick, and the line between a spirited debate and a personal attack gets really blurry really fast, especially if algorithms are boosting the most extreme stuff that gets the biggest reaction. Makes you wonder how much is real and how much is shaped by the platform's incentives and, let's be honest, the audience's demand for a spectacle.
And the audience,
Yeah.
you listening, you play a more active role in shaping these narratives than you might even realize.
How so?
Well, every time you click, every time you comment, every share, you're sending a signal, right?
Yeah.
To the platform about what's engaging, what's worth amplifying.
Okay. So if the most dramatic take gets the most clicks.
Then that narrative gets stronger, spreads further, it's inadvertently reinforced. The challenge then becomes separating the content of the drama from the mechanisms that are pushing it forward. Are we as consumers even aware of how we're maybe being nudged towards these more dramatic stories?
That really does shift the perspective. The question for us as viewers and for the whole online community is, how do we engage with all this?
Right.
Do we just automatically accept the most sensational story, the one screaming self-destruction? Or do we actually pause, take a breath, and consider maybe there's another interpretation?
One that fits better with the creator's established identity, even if it's controversial.
Exactly. Rather than assuming it's some sudden dramatic shift. The source material really pushes us to move past that immediate outrage and think about whether the criticism is genuinely fair or if it's just piling on.
That kind of critical thinking is vital.
It is, especially in an environment where so much content is designed specifically to provoke a strong reaction, sometimes, at the expense of nuance or any kind of balanced understanding. It's about building media literacy that goes beyond just spotting bias.
But understanding the systems.
Yeah, understanding the systemic pressures and even the psychological drivers behind it all.
And that's really where the power lies for you, the listener, to not just passively consume this stuff, but to actively, critically analyze it. To question the narratives you're given, especially when they seem way too dramatic or totally one-sided. Was Rican Ranger truly on the verge of crashing out completely?
Wow.
Or was this maybe a calculated, controversial performance that actually fits with his long-standing way of doing things online? The source itself leaves that open, right? Asking its audience to consider if he's spiraling or is he just being unapologetically himself?
Which is a great question.
It's a fantastic prompt for all of us to apply that to everything we see online. Consider the creator's brand, the critic's potential motives, the platform's own biases. It's a complex ecosystem. Understanding it means becoming a more discerning and ultimately, I think, a more empowered consumer.
Well said.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we've really looked at two clashing views on Rican Ranger. There's the initial critique, him crashing out, spiraling.
Right, the self-destruction narrative.
And then the counter-argument. Maybe he's just being unapologetically himself, operating within that established, fiery persona that weirdly fuels the online discussion itself.
But we didn't stop just there.
No, we dug into those powerful forces shaping these stories, the algorithms amplifying engagement, that blurry line between the authentic self and strategic performance.
And crucially, the role you, the audience, play in validating and spreading these narratives.
Which brings us to that provocative thought we want to leave you with.
Yeah, something to chew on. In this high-stakes online world where the pressure to engage, to entertain is just relentless, where does authentic expression actually end and where does strategic performance begin?
It's so hard to tell sometimes.
It really is.
Yeah.
And how do we, as viewers, possibly discern between genuine passion calculated controversy or maybe just a strong personality that the algorithms in the online communities then pick up and amplify or misinterpret as recklessness or self-destruction.
That's the core of it. And what role do we play in shaping all this? Do we demand more nuance? Or do we just inadvertently reward the most sensational stuff, reinforcing the very dynamics we might question?
Through the loop.
It feels like it. So we really encourage you to apply this critical lens. To other online figures, other discussions you see, look for those nuances beyond the first easy perception.
Don't just take the headlines or the most dramatic takes at face value.
Exactly. Dig a bit deeper. Question the motives. Understand the mechanisms. We really hope this deep dive has given you some useful tools for doing just that.
Hopefully so.
Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and keep diving deep.